Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, Chapter 97. When we last left our heroes, Loxus started his fight with Irene, the coffin-wielding member of Diabolos, who is an atmosphere dragon slayer, is the nature of his powers. He is able to compress and distort the atmosphere, allowing him to both attack Loxus with just like air bubbles that explode, and to deflect Loxus's lightning. Loxus finds a couple of workarounds, A, by using the ground to shoot his lightning through, and also B, with his red lightning that just ignores atmosphere somehow. Red lightning's always been kind of vague, so I'll give it a pass. Anyway, Kirin decides to take the fight a bit more seriously, unleashes some kind of magic power that Loxus compares to Gildart's. And it's a little bit unclear if that's meant to be, there's like some kind of connection there, or it's just a really like similar amount of power. Not quite clear. Meanwhile, back with Not So Lucy and Happy, Lucy summons Loki, and Loki does some quick thinking with Ares to allow them to bring down the plush dog that Haku sent after them, finally ridding them of the dog, but they're still kind of stuck as plushies. And Haku finds his next target in Wendy and Lily. So with all that said, let's dive right on into Chapter 97, White Tiger Dragon Haku. And our picture here is Wendy carrying like groceries with like the signs of Christmas all around her, like snow everywhere, Santa on his sleigh, a Christmas tree, reindeers, holy night that glitters in the town. Just for today, this cold may be comfortable. And we open with back with Wendy and Lily, who have been fighting those monsters for a while now. They seem kind of exhausted. Wendy notes, "My clothes, they're a total mess." Lily responds, "Such a horrible labyrinth." And then Haku approaches them. "I bet if I turn you into a plushie, it'll fix your clothes right up." And Wendy and Lily react, and Wendy asks, "Who?" But Lily warns her, "Be careful. He might be one of those Diabolos guys." And Haku gives him like a pair of peace signs. "Yep, I am Haku of Diabolos. I already beat two of you." And Wendy reacts, "Wait, this kid did?" And she doesn't even know who they are yet. She'd be much more shocked to learn that it's Natsu and Lucy, supposedly. Again, they're still kind of fine. And Haku teases, or Haku sort of objects, "So what if I'm a kid? You're not that big either." And Wendy sort of smiles and like embarrassed. Well, when you put it that way, and Haku laughs, "Foo-foo-foo, and Wendy, in her like sort of embarrassed routine, like scratches her cheek and blushes, and Haku is taken aback, gets like literal hearts in his eyes. So cute. Would you give me your name, please? He's kind of he's sort of cute, like young little puppy love." But Wendy's just stunned. "Huh?" And Lily reacts, "He's slurred." And Wendy tells him, "It's Wendy." And Haku is just over the moon. "Wendy! Wendy! Wendy!" Just like full hearts. He's going for it. He got like shoujo sparkles behind him. There's a whole thing going here. "I love you." And Wendy is just not here for this. "Huh?" The shock, like, flips her twin tails up. It's a good bit. And Lily reacts, "He's slurred again? This brat, is he trying to seduce Wendy?" "I don't think he's quite crafty enough for that, Lily." But Wendy asks, "But we're enemies, aren't we?" Haku tells her, "That doesn't matter. After all, I've never seen such a cute girl in my life." And that really gets Wendy blushing. And Haku goes on, "I love you. Enough, please. Just before, you said you defeated two of my friends, right? I don't think you hurt my friends," but she's just like doubting him. Like, there's no way you actually won anything. "If you really did, then I won't let that stand." But Haku tells her, "You've got it all wrong. I just turned them into plushies. I didn't hurt them at all." And Lily presses, "What do you mean plushies?" And Haku points at him, and Lily turns into a plush. And Wendy comes over. "Lily, see? Just like that." And Lily just sort of reacts, well, what is this? I've lost my strength. And Wendy presses, change Lily back. And Haku asks, if I do, will you go out with me? And Wendy is just mad. There's none of the appeasing, might be the right word. The sort of letting him have his fun that we saw earlier on in the chapter. She's in battle mode. Why would I ever do that? And Irene, who is still here somehow. Because I thought back during the Alderaan arc, right, Irene said that, like, she had used up too much magic, becoming conscious again. She would be unconscious for a long, long time. And the only reason she showed up back in Elentier is because of Elentier's overabundance of magic. Is maybe she just didn't go back to sleep after getting all that magic. Because Irene is still awake, by the way. And Irene tells her, he is simply in an abnormal state. Your magic can undo it. And Wendy thinks Irene's son. But that gives Wendy the info she needs. Raise! And we see the plushy Lily start to kind of shake. And he pops back to normal. You saved me, Wendy. And Haku is shocked. Which does, I will say, give us our first sign of how to save Natsu and Lucy. Just have Wendy raise them. Which admittedly is the exact same thing they did during the yokai incident, like 20 chapters ago. Right? How long was the yokai incident now, actually? Yeah. It was around this already 20 chapters. That doesn't quite feel right. I can't quite believe it's been so long since then. But anyway, focusing. In case you could not tell, it's fairly late at night, and I'm a little scattered. Anyway, Haku. The thing is that Haku, when he says this, has this sort of like shine to their eyes. What just happened? How can this be? How did you lift my spell? And Wendy tells them, I am an enchanter, and I have the power to heal. And that's just a badass fucking Wendy pose. And Haku just sort of stares, and like panicked now. But actually not panicked. He goes right back to bowing. I love you very much. And Wendy's sort of put off by it. Okay, how's this? If I beat you, I'd like you to go out with me. And Wendy's taken aback by that. Huh? And I think this is Irene speaking through Wendy saying, that's fine by me. I guess Irene's like confident Wendy's not going to lose. But Wendy like covers her mouth. Well, wait, Irene-san? And Lily reacts, Wendy, have you lost it? And Haku's just overjoyed. Huh? Really? Promise me. And Wendy tries to get out. No, But Irene takes over again. Don't make me repeat myself. Now bring it on, you punk. So there's an interesting thing. And this might be way off base. There's not a whole lot of evidence to support this one way or the other. But the way Irene is kind of taking over Wendy here, is there some plan she has to like come back to life by taking over Wendy? Because that was like kind of her plan during the fight with Urza, right? You know, when she took over Wendy at one point, to like, give me a second, to have this human body that never turned into a dragon and to be young again and all that good shit. It would not be the first time she tried to steal Wendy's life. If she is planning that again here. I don't know. Something about this makes me a little bit cautious of Irene. But anyway, Wendy like turns to Irene and thinks, please don't make me say things against my will. But Irene tells her, watching romance between two kids gets boring after a while. Besides, your body is incredibly important to me as it is now. I cannot disregard a kid who meddled with my precious Wendy's body. Okay, so seeing that first Irene line, I was going to be all, oh no, she's just sort of having some fun and like getting tired of these antics, let's get a move on with the fight. But then she has that line, besides, your body is incredibly important to me as it is now. I'm getting more and more suspicious that Irene is up to something. I think Irene wants to steal Wendy's body. And then she gets this like dark look on her face as she continues, he needs to be taught a lesson. And Wendy tells her, please stop saying things like that. There's nothing to worry about. So if it's for my friends who were turned into plushies, then lend me your strength. And she powers up, I guess doing some kind of merge with Irene's magic. And Lily reacts, kind of shocked. What is this magic power? Is it really Wendy's? He's getting some sense, because no one was there, right? When she tapped into Irene's powers in the past. No one was there for her fight with the ball. I don't think anyone saw... No, she didn't use Irene's powers during Ellen Tier. She just talked to Irene about Superior. So I don't think anyone's seen her use that sort of enchant with Irene. Anyway, Haku tells her, so if you get turned into a plushie, that means you lose. Is that okay? But Wendy snaps, abnormal conditions don't work on me. Oh, don't they? And he readies his attack. Plush doll, take that! But Wendy counters, abnormal condition defense magic. Re-raise! And yeah, it blocks the spell. Shocking Haku. Huh? It really didn't work? What now? Then, should I try something else? And Wendy readies her attack. Now it's my turn. If you and Irene tries to take over, if he gets torn to shreds, you win. But Wendy pushes back against that. If you get knocked out, I win. And Haku's just, so lovey-dovey. Fine by me. Sky dragons, wave wind. And she throws this whole tornado at Haku. And he just jumps out of the way. Lily reacts, he's fast. And Wendy looks up, there! Sky dragons roar! And she shoots her roar at Haku. And Haku just gleams. Wow! Wind came out of Wendy's mouth! Thank you! And he lets himself get hit by her breath in a... I don't want to call it horny because the kid's 10. But I guess romantic vibe going on there. And he hits the ground! Alright. I'm not sure if that counts as a win. But Lily just notes he walked right into it. And Wendy's just sort of taken aback, as I would be too in that situation. And Haku is just sort of gloating. Wow, I'm so lucky. I'm saved. And Irene tells Wendy, don't use the roar against him again. Agreed. Yeah, that's just too fucking creepy. Honestly, I get that, Wendy. But Wendy goes on the attack again. Sky dragons? Then Haku shoots back up. Pulls his hood up a little further over his face. Since I got out all right, I guess I should get a little serious. Roar, roar, roar! I'm a white tiger! Are we actually going to see a white tiger-themed power out of him? Alright. And he just dashes through Wendy. Okay. Shocking Wendy, huh? And Lily reacts, what just happened? And Haku grins, he's grabbed something. The white tiger dragon is really fast. That's right. It's as fast as the speed of light. Oh, and I'm taking this. And he has a plush doll of Irene. Somehow. Okay. Alright. But hold on. What does that mean? Because he got... what happens if they unplush doll Irene? Will Irene just come back? With a physical body? Or will her soul, go back to Wendy, or the residuals of her magic just go back to Wendy? Right? What happens there? I don't know. And Wendy reacts, Irene-san. And Lily reacts, Irene. Or, no, more like an Irene. Interesting thing there is, how much does Lily know about Irene? Because he wasn't there for Irene. He might recognize her name. But what is Lily thinking about realizing that Wendy has this alliance with a former enemy of the guild? Plush Irene, for her part, is kind of silent. And Haku tosses Irene up and down. I had a feeling you were secretly getting advice from someone. I can change personas into plushies too. All right. Okay. Anyway, Wendy reacts. Abnormal condition defense magic. Re-raise. And she tries to free Irene, but it doesn't work. And Haku tells her, but it looks like you can't lift spells put on a spirit body. So is that it for Irene? Is she just dead like that? If she can't be freed, then I guess all of her plans to steal Wendy or what plans she might have to steal Wendy are just kind of gone like that. But Wendy reacts, no. But Haku tells her, by the way, I forgot to mention one thing. I'm one of the Dark Dragon Slayer Knights. I'm really strong. And then we come back to Irene and Loxus. As Loxus is on the ground, we see, our establishing shot is these kind of wispy pillars of stone that I'm not sure we saw in the previous chapter. I'm going to do a quick click through of that. And just looking, it looks to just be a tunnel. Just a tunnel, what we see in this fight. It might just be those pillars are like just not shown. But I don't know. My gut's telling me those are new. It's like part of we don't see them at all in the previous chapter. The fact that that the establishing shot of this admittedly one-page cliffhanger scene is these pillars. The pillars might have something to do with Kirine's special attack. Either way, Loxus is beat up. What the hell was that? And Irene just taunts him. That's a Dark Dragon Slayer Knight for you. To be continued. Okay. So I kind of said last chapter left me a little cold. I like this one a lot more. We get some more fun Irene stuff. Haku's little crush on Wendy is kind of cute. And we get just a good fight. I'm trying to put into words the difference between this fight and last fight. Or last chapter, the little bit of Loxus Irene we got. And I think, last time I talked a little bit about the kind of lack of emotional connection to a lot of these villains, to Irene and Haku and Misaki is her name, given that we've never seen any of them before. And I think even just this little bit of Haku kind of crushing on Wendy, and Wendy's sort of reaction of this guy took out some of my friends, It's sort of like I don't think you need a lot of emotional connection to make a fight land. You need a little bit of it. And just the little bit we get here sells this fight. Sells, Wendy trying to protect her friends and Haku and his weird crush on her. All of that really comes together for a real fun fight. Especially once Irene is back in the picture. Because, Irene's kind of in an interesting state here. And again, it's starting to look more and more like Irene has and or had, prior to her being ripped from Wendy's body, had some kind of plan for her. It kind of feels like she wants to take over Wendy again, maybe. But either way, Wendy no longer has Irene. She wasn't really fighting with Irene's powers, more using Irene's advice, but also losing Irene's powers when she's fighting a top member of Diabolos, and she needed that Irene enchantment to bring down Nabal, a weaker member of Diabolos. It's not looking good for her. The one plus side of that, I will say, is that maybe Fairy Tail will finally be able to correct the error it has had since the fucking Daedalus arc, and finally give Lily something to do. Let him fight. I am so bitter the way he was just sort of, mascotified post-Daedalus. Please give my good boy an actual fight. But yeah, the Wendy-Haku fight I'm here for. And also, even that one little cliffhanger also threw in some fun shit. I was kind of cold on the Loxus Irene fight. I do want to see what happened with that Irene fight. This cliffhanger left me kind of curious. What's going on? What's with these sort of dripping stones that have appeared? Lots of interesting things going on there, and I want to see all of that play out. So yeah, all in all, lots of good shit here. This is probably my favorite chapter of the Labyrinth arc. I found the Labyrinth arc also just in general kind of contrived so far. But we're starting to have some good content here. The Wendy-Irene relationship is sort of a fairly strong emotional center. The Haku-Wendy thing is kind of fun. And then there's just some good fights. Some good moves done. The sort of shock of Wendy losing Irene and what exactly that means for both Wendy and Irene. Lots of good shit on display here, and I can't wait to see how all this plays out next time. So I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe. Do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!